Order, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, June 23rd, 2014. The roll will show that all members are present with the exception of Councilman Wadsworth.
Please excuse.
That is noted. Mr. Chair and Council, we have an amended agenda tonight. We actually have a very long agenda. The amendment is that we've included item 5I under the mayor's report and item 6A6 under the clerk's report. So I am presenting the amended agenda, which is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6A clerk's report, 6B treasurer's report, 7 public comment, 8 unfinished business, 9 new business, 10 communication, 11 is warrant 14-12, and number 12, adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the amended agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
It's motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Makowski for approval of amended agenda as presented. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Amended agenda is approved.
2A, for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held June 9th, 2014.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll ask for approval of the minutes for the regular meeting held June 9th, 2014.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Makowski for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held June the 9th, 2014. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
2B, approval of the minutes from the special meetings that were held June 9th, 2014. There was a 5:30 closed session meeting to discuss pending union contract matters, and then there was a 6:30 special meeting, which was a study session on the topic was the Goddard Road reconstruction project, and a motion would be in order to accept our special meeting agendas as presented. So moved. Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate, for approval of the minutes from the special meeting held on June the 9th, 2014 at 5:30, and a closed session meeting pending union contract matters at 6:30, study session with Gardner Road reconstruction project. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 3, petitioner. Tonight, Mr. Chair and Council, we have representatives from the Heritage Crystal Clean, located at 29060 Airport Drive. They're here requesting approval for transfer of hazardous and non-hazardous liquid industrial waste in containers. If Mr. Wyeth can come to the podium and, or whichever representative, and if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves and then make your presentation.
My name is Catherine McCord. I'm the Vice President for Environment, Health, and Safety with Heritage Crystal Clean. We're a national environmental services company based in Chicago. Our company was formed in 1999, and one of our original 15 locations when we started the company was in the Detroit area in Novi. Subsequent to that, we moved to Romulus and left our Wick Road location in 2004. So we've been in Taylor since then. We've grown, and we'd like to come back to Romulus. So that's really why we're here, to get approval. Our lease in our other location is up in July, so we're getting a little nervous because we've been working on this for a while. And so I'm here to be able to answer questions about what we do. My company currently has 75 locations like the one we have in Taylor and like the one we want to move to Romulus. We specialize in collecting wastes from businesses that are routinely generated, things like paint from a parts manufacturer, inks from a printer, my bicycle shop, that repairs my bicycles and have parts cleaners that we service, or an auto shop, an auto body shop. So we don't do any kind of remediation. We don't do any kind of treatment of the waste locally. What we're doing is going out every business day in small route trucks, collecting containerized waste that are brought back to our branch and transferred directly from the route trucks, these small box trucks, into semi-trailers. No containers are opened at the locations. The waste moves at least every 10 days to one of our 4 hubs, and the hubs that service this part of the country is in Indianapolis, and it's from that location where the waste goes on to the final treatment or recycling location. We also will be having oil trucks and a vacuum service truck park at the location. No waste will come off of those trucks. Our employees come to work on Monday through Friday, 1 shift. No customers come to us. No waste are delivered to us at that location. Our employees get out of their cars, get in, go inside, get their paperwork for the day, get in their uniforms, and then go off for the day of services. So we don't typically work any weekends. We have some special project or some inventory work to done, but and we have very little traffic in the sense that our trucks leave once a day and then come back at the end of the day. As the branch grows, we have those exchanges of those trailers more often. So I've also got here with me Craig LeBlanc, who is our local manager. He manages the Taylor facility and will be the manager if we get approved to come back to Romulus. I guess I want to explain is that in our corporate office, we decide what our reps will be picking up. We pre-approve all the waste streams. We've got chemists on board that determine what they're classified under the state and federal regulations, or how they fit under DOT requirements, what kind of containers they have to be, what kind of labels they have to have. And so our field people are the sales and service reps who are implementing those programs. So the technical knowledge is at the central office in deciding how these wastes are classified, what is appropriate. We do not pick up any waste that require any kind of segregation in the sense of truck distance of containers, from container within the truck. We're only picking up things that are compatible. A good portion of our business is also parts cleaner services. So if someone has parts that they have to wash, like the parts that come off your car as they're maintaining your vehicles, some other kind of maintenance in a factory, we'll provide a parts cleaning unit or just even the solutions, the solvent or the aqueous cleaners that are used to wash parts. So all of these services are on a routine pre-scheduled basis. There's no surprises, there's no ad hoc pickups. I mean, all the routing of that material is all predetermined. So when we go out to a business down the road to pick up their waste, we know where that's going to end up. It could be ending up in a fuel blending operation in New York. It could end up in a fuel blending operation in South Carolina, but based on its physical characteristics and its regulatory classification, we've made those decisions in advance of picking up the drums. We don't do any kind of spill response, emergency services like that. We don't remediate customer sites. Again, we're picking up waste that are routinely generated at specific businesses. We have a total of 85,000 customers in the U.S., again, specializing in those kind of middle and smaller size businesses. We're in 43 states. We've got 446 of these route trucks that go out every day to provide these services. And then these 4 captive distribution hubs that I talked about, one in Indianapolis, we have one in Philadelphia, Shreveport, Louisiana, Atlanta. And again, that's where all the containerized waste gets rerouted to the end third-party disposal. Our route trucks themselves have containment systems built into them. So the primary containment is the container itself, and then the trucks have these special floors. And then the semi-trailers that we lease are custom made for us, where they've got metal floors that are welded in and go up 18 inches on the side. So it's like a swimming pool inside. So we've got, if we've got a leaking container, for some reason it happens, it would most likely stay inside that waste trailer. No waste will be stored inside. No flammables will be inside. What we'll use the warehouse for is dry goods like absorbent or empty drums that we're selling customers, or parts washer units that we provide to our customers. We'll also have the aqueous cleaners inside our warehouse, just because they are susceptible to temperature variation. The solvents that we provide our customers will be kept in a semi-trailer at our loading dock, and then there'll also be a waste trailer at our loading dock, and then we'll use the open dock doors as conveyance in and do like a U-turn out of the route truck and then into the waste trailer, and then refill, stock the trucks for the next day's services. So we'll pull things out of the warehouse and then out of the supply trailer. As I said, all the waste streams are pre-approved by the Environmental Health and Safety Department, and we have special contracts with parties for notification. This past week, we've gone through our building inspections. I think we've got a final walkthrough tomorrow. We have made commitments to reach out to the fire department beyond our normal, required by regulations. We also have personnel, including myself, available 24/7 when there's issues. We're all on call. And we have special contracts with national transporter systems called Chemtrack, so that people can get in touch with us, firefighters, police department, and then our phone numbers and our branch manager's phone numbers will be posted on the door 24/7 in case there's some emergency and we're not there. So I guess I'd like to take the opportunity to answer any kind of questions about our operation. We did have the hearing before the Environmental Protection Board last Monday. Answered quite a few questions, but we also want to be available today to answer questions that you may have.
Any questions? Ms. Makowski?
Yes, thank you, Mrs. McCord, for being here. I've got to tell you that I reviewed the Environmental Protection Board minutes from our city, and it looked very thorough. And listening to you, I thought, wow, she really knows what she's doing here. But one thing you didn't mention that I would like you to mention to the community is, while you indicated you don't remediate or provide emergency response to customers, you had very well thought out plans on how you react to emergencies if they did happen. You mentioned your specially made trailers, but can you tell us more about your...
Yeah, our employees are trained that if there's emergency, if 911 is supposed to be called, they're supposed to call 911. So if there's a physical emergency from a potential for fire, or looks like they're having a heart attack, the next call they're supposed to make is to Chemtrack, which is if anyone's involved with transportation or hazmat, they're familiar with that system. So all our employees have this Chemtrack number programmed into their iPhones, and then if they have an injury, any kind of property damage, let's say they run into somebody's fire hydrant or something at a loading dock, if they have a release over 12 ounces, pop can size, or any kind of vehicle accident, they call Chemtrack. And so the right manager within the Environmental Health and Safety Department is patched in and giving advice. So we're making decisions about what has to happen. And we find, especially in the case of like a spill or something like that, or someone's hurt, sometimes adrenaline's taking over and people aren't using the best judgment, but we try to take it off the local person and make the decision if we need to call emergency services or call an emergency response team. Let's say some drum looks like it's losing its integrity and we need to have it overpacked, we have that authority to make that decision on the spot and call in someone. So there are people that specialize in that emergency services, and we have, I've got purchase authority to make those decisions on behalf of the company, and as do my managers. And so we'll decide on the spot whether or not our local person needs assistance.
Thank you.
So I guess one thing I'd like to reiterate is that we're taking waste out of the neighborhoods, out of the businesses that are local and moving it to a place that it's almost all of our services involves recycling of materials, and it's just one more choice that businesses have, in having some competition for other service providers.
Any other questions?
Mr. Burden?
Yes, Ms.
I don't really have a question, I just have a comment. You were really thorough with explaining everything you have in here, and I do appreciate that because it really helps to hear you tell us what you also have here. We use your company. They come to our facility, so your trucks are already on the roads here in Romulus, everywhere. And so you're just asking to come here and, take residency with your business, and we appreciate you coming back to Romulus and considering us as your home. And I don't have a problem with everything you have here. Because just like you said, you're taking it out of the businesses, it's not ending out in the field or where have you, where it used to back in the day, and recycling it, and that's very important nowadays to get everything out there.
And about 2.5 years ago, we invested $63 million and built a ground-up oil re-refinery in Indianapolis. So we bring in used oil from Detroit and from Canada, from California, Maine, Florida, all into Indianapolis, and we re-refine used oil back into base lube and sell it back to the major oil companies. So it's not the newest, but it's a fairly, it's the cutting edge with respect to recycling of used oil instead of having it burnt for energy recovery, so.
Okay, any other questions, comments? None? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. We need a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would make that motion that, based on the recommendation from the Environmental Protection Board, that, and at the request of the petitioner for application EBP 14,001, the Heritage Crystal Clean LLC, that we approve the transfer of hazardous and non-hazardous liquid industrial waste in containers, subject to the following condition: that the containment trailers must be located the farthest distance possible from the catch basin. And the subject property is 29060 Airport Drive, Building 20.
Support.
There's a motion by Ms. Choke, supported by Mr. Kraut, for the Heritage Crystal Clean LLC at the address of 29060 Airport Drive, requesting approval for transfer of hazardous and non-hazardous liquid industrial waste in containers. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Choke?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you. Today, we had a closed session at 6:30, discussing union matters. At 6:45, we had a study session concerning the Romulus Community Schools tax collection agreement. And at 7 p.m., a study session on policy and procedures. And at this time, I'd like to recognize Councilmember Abdo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask council for, I'd like to make a motion, rather, for a certificate of acknowledgement for Bill and Jean Wadsworth. They're celebrating their 47th anniversary this year.
Support.
Thank you.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut, for recognition for Bill and his wife. Ms. Abdo,
Yes?
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
I have another motion also.
Okay.
I'm asking council for a certificate of acknowledgement for my mother-in-law, Christine Abdo, who turned 97 years old this week. She is a former school bus driver. She may have driven some of you to school, and she's still living here and doing well.
Support.
A motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut, for a resolution for Ms. Abdo, which is 97 years old, and I hope she give up some of that secret of living that long, and wish her many more. Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call up Jason Malloy.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jason Malloy. Last year I came to get approved the Dominate Diabetes 5K run, the first annual. For those council members who were not here, I am from Robichaud High School. I grew up there, earned a scholarship to play at Western Michigan University, play football there. I earned degree in elementary education. Now I'm an administrator. I've been working in schools for 10 years. I started this football camp, started off as a football camp that turned into a nonprofit that I want to give back to the community. So one of the things that, some of the things that I've done in the past have been a clothing drive, a turkey drive, and then last year we did a diabetes 5K where we gave the money to the American Diabetes Association to really help type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Last year, we were able to get about 75 participants with adults and children. We are looking today to see if we can get a non-fee permit to close off the road, and I think we closed off right at the corner of Beverly and Wayne Road because we crossed right there, and it was only for a short time frame. We did work with the police department and the fire department. We did also have the ambulance come out as well, just in case we had any people who passed out when we did not. It was great. Most of the people who did participate, and there's several people in this room, they walked or ran, and we really had a good time. Like I said, we had 75 participants. We look to make this a staple in our community. I want this to be for years to come and to really put a foot forward towards dominating diabetes. And we look forward to maybe having 100 participants this year. Some other background things that we have, we did registration from 9 to 10 a.m. and then we started the event at 10:30. And so we were working on a short time frame because we know that Wayne Road is pretty busy, so it was only blocked off for that short time frame. We provided a live DJ, a bounce house for the kids. We had a continental breakfast and a snack for all the participants when they finished. And then we actually started at Romulus Community Baptist Church. That's my home church, but that's where the event started. And then we ended up there, and in that parking lot, our goal is to have vendors there with medical background, healthy living type things. So we're working to get different sponsorships to really support the event and really make it a big event. Each participant received a t-shirt as well. And that's really my story. I just want to come and see if we can, again, make this a staple in the community and start off with our second annual for this year. That date is October 11th, the second weekend in October, Saturdays, October 11th, October.
Mr. Mayor, you have something?
Yeah, just a comment. I think it's a great cause, and I know you did do it last year, and we had some council people that were involved in it. I would just ask if we get all the details so we can coordinate it with public safety, DPW, make sure we schedule staff around that timing, and we'd be happy to do that. We just need some of the details, and we can put them in touch with our office to help set that up if council wishes.
Okay.
And we have been meeting, what's been great, we've had a small group that's been meeting once a month to kind of help push it forward and go in the right direction. So we actually meet tomorrow at 6:30. So once we have that meeting, I'll definitely get something sent over.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr.
could
Councilman.
I make the motion that we give them a no-fee permit, or?
Sure.
Okay, that's what I'd like to do then.
Okay.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe for a no-fee permit. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Crowd,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Mr. Burden?
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
Real quick, Jason, why don't you give your website address out, and that way everybody can go there. Maybe your phone number if you want.
Okay. The website to where we do our nonprofit is Next Level, NEXTLEVEL 55.com. And then my phone number, personal contact, is 313-433-9579. If you know of any vendors or anybody that would love to participate, just give me a call and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Malloy. Okay. All right. Ms. Abdo, would you-
Yes, I know we have a long meeting, so I'd like to take this time to introduce someone special to our community. Mr. Hall, would you like to come forward? Mr. Hall is our new principal at Romulus High School. I'm excited to have him on board. I wanted him to meet. Thank you for coming. I know.
Thank you for the invite. Honorable Mayor, entire City Council on today. It's indeed an honor and a privilege to stand before you. I just left the board meeting. It was finalized.
Yes.
Got the blessings from the board, and so I'm indeed excited. Please just, I'm excited but yet tired. Still working. Still have over 1,000 kids in my present position. So I'm working about 14 hours right now. So when I leave here, I'm gonna get some much needed rest and redo some things. But I just wanted to come and just show my face and speak to the city. Those that have come out today to see the Romulus. And so you will see a lot of me, all 6'7" of me. I am one that believes in community partnerships. I believe that with a healthy city, it becomes healthy schools, in turns healthy families. So all of those things right there, having a healthy community is important to me, and not much of a talker. I like to walk the walk, more so to talk the talk. Okay, and so it is my prayer that I will gain the support of the entire city as we look to transform the school district here in this Michigan. Ms. Abdul, thank you so much for inviting me, and I look forward to working with you and working for you for this entire community. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman?
Mayor?
That's just on behalf of the administration and all the electeds and everyone in the city. Welcome to Romulus, and you hit it right on the head. You know, to be a healthy community, we've got to have healthy schools, and we look forward to working with you. So thanks for coming out tonight after a long day. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a resident, a 4th Street resident. Would you like to come up and give your name, or has that been settled already? He just want to mention a few things, get a name and address.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Harold Pollard. I've been a resident in Romulus for 20 years. I live on 4th Street, 6090. And I just come to see if I could get some assistance from the council in the public safety, because safety is first. I have 3 grandkids I'm raising, and we have vehicles that comes down 4th Street pretty fast. And we'd like to see if we could slow that down a little. And I'm hoping to get with the safety committee, and we discuss some things that they could do, and also repair the street. The street is bad. The street is bad, and we need some repair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Mr. Chairman, we'd be happy to work with this gentleman and do whatever we can do to help on 4th Street and all the streets. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. With that, that concludes the chairman's report.
So moved to accept the chairman's report?
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Makowski, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, City Council, Treasurer, Clerk, and audience. I know we have a lot tonight, and I have a lot of good things to talk about, so we'll try to get right into it. The quote tonight goes as this: leadership is the capacity to translate a vision into reality. We've been going through the vision process. We had a steering team meeting last week. Many people in the community received phone calls, surveys from an outside company asking a series of questions to be open and honest with. We also had some surveys that were done outside our community, people calling residents in Ann Arbor or Pontiac or Monroe and asking them similar questions, a little shorter survey about Romulus. We had a meeting last week with the schools. We shared the visioning video. We're trying to work on a regular basis and helping the schools be part of that vision process, so we're going to continue to do that. We have some other activities coming up. We hope to have some good results back on the vision process in August, but just wanted to give you an update on that. If you hadn't heard about it, this last Saturday, we did reopen the Elmer Johnson Park. There are a lot of people that were involved in that. We had volunteers. We had our Teamsters locals that were involved. Several of them came out and worked on furlough days. We had the Rotarians. We had the Michigan Regional Carpenters who came out and donated their time. It's really looking good. So it is now open. There are a few more things to come with it, some finishing touches. We're trying to look at other areas as far as parks and recreation. Later, I'll talk specifically about some recreation that's coming up that I'm really excited about. But I just want to thank everybody who came out. If you did miss it, notate when you go by, the hours are still there. They're posted. It's open. The main thing is get out there with your family and friends and enjoy the park. That's what it's there for. A couple other things that are going on that are worthy of mentioning. You've heard a lot about this, but it's kind of winding down with some of the activity. We have a DIA, Detroit Institute of Arts Inside Out program going on. Tuesday the 24th from 6 to 8, Mary Ann Banks, they're having their Art in the Park, so please come out. There's going to be art demonstrations going on. There's a 7 o'clock bus tour to the 10 art pieces. This is really one of the last events, big pushes before the art comes down the end of July. So if you haven't had a chance to enjoy it, please get out. Another good positive experience and opportunity for family and youth. All the locations are listed and they're also on our website. A couple other things that are coming up this week. Again, I wanted to thank Lee Steele. We have the fireworks returning, City of Romulus. It's going to be Thursday the 26th at dusk. The park obviously is open for viewing. The school area will be open for viewing. Bring your own chairs. Please try to clean up. Be safe. But weather permitting, we will be shooting off fireworks at 10 o'clock this Thursday. Looks like the weather's going to be good. If for some reason there's rain, Friday is the rain out date, but we've been blessed with good weather and we hope that that'll move forward. And again, it's free. Enjoy it. Thank you to Lee Steele. They donated the funds for the fireworks. The Rotary Foundation has also worked and allowed us to make that happen. So good activities that are not increasing taxes or putting any more burden on the residents. So I think those are positive. As well as Elmer Johnson's. That was a collaborative effort to do that. Something coming up in July, just to mark your calendar. You may be aware that Romulus has a drug task force that meets. They have a golf outing. The drug task force provides scholarships to kids that come out of school. So this is one of their big fundraisers that they're having. Mark your calendars. If you are a golfer or want to support it, it's Thursday, July 17th. It's going to be at the Gateway Golf Course. It's a shotgun type start, scramble. Good fun. You can basically go and call for tickets at 734-893-0694, or the chamber website also has information on it as well too. The proceeds go to pay for those scholarships for the kids, so please support that. If you're not a golfer, pass the word and try to get other folks out there, because that's huge. A couple other things I wanted to just that are worthy of mentioning. I'd like to introduce to council and to the audience when we make some changes on our team, and I'd like to bring a couple people up, and when I call their name, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium. First, we had Debbie Hoffman, who retired as our finance director, almost 40 years of service. Awesome person that was dedicated, decided to stay home, and she's blessed with being a grandmother. So what I'd like to do is welcome back Susan Marino. Susan, come on up. Susan also comes in that position, not under budget, not asking for council, as I've told you before, for any more additional funding, but Susan, I welcome back to the City of Romulus. Susan had spent several years here, very well qualified, big shoes to fill with Debbie, but when she left Romulus, she spent time in a couple other communities. I'll let her speak briefly, and then came back to Romulus in an opportunity which I think is perfect to help our team move the city forward. Anything you want to say, Susan?
Well, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. Again, I left here in 2004, so I've been gone for almost 10 years. And my travels, I've worked for several different cities, Lincoln Park, Madison Heights, Novi, and then coming from Redford Township. So I've come from a variety of different governments and operations and have learned a lot. I was very fortunate to work with Debbie for almost 9 years. She was a great boss and a great mentor and a great friend, and I learned a lot from her. And when the opportunity came and they called me to come back, to me it was like coming home. So it was it was an odd feeling to walk into this building last Monday. I felt like I'd never left. I essentially grew up here. I got married while I was here. I had my daughter while I was here, made great friends, and have maintained those friendships over the last 10 years. So I'm very blessed, and I appreciate the opportunity to come back.
Welcome back,
Thank
Susan.
you.
Next, we also have with us J.D. Settles. As you know, Jean Watson retired. She was a full-time ordinance director. J.D. comes to us as the ordinance director. He is a part-time ordinance director. He has extensive background in law enforcement, which is critical, especially when you're working in ordinance, and that falls under that part of the vertical. Again, coming in, doing things different. We had a full-time director. He's part-time, although we're working him hard already, JD. And, again, as a cost saving to the city, because budgets are as what they are, but we're going to get a ton of value out of JD, and he's going to work very well with our team. He's already come in and put some things in place that we needed to with structure and bringing an outside look in, which is really refreshing to have. So with that, I wanted to welcome JD and allow you to say a couple words as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council, for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. I'm looking forward to working for the city of Romulus. I retired from the Sheriff Department after 25 years. Spent some time working at the airport back when it was the old Smith Terminal and sometime in the new McNamara Terminal. I'm a hard worker and I plan on help getting it done.
Thank you. Welcome to Romulus. And last but not least, another welcome back. This is going to run some of our recreation program that I alluded to earlier. And believe me, we have some great things coming back this year with recreation. If you haven't seen the flyers, look at the website, watch the cable commercial that's running with a couple rock star teenagers on that talking about recreation programs. You got to have parks, you got to have recreation, right? And Tanya Cofield, who had been involved in that with the city of Romulus before, and not just a worker, she's been an awesome volunteer in our community. She's been involved with Boys and Girls Club and church groups and other activities on an ongoing basis. Never left the city, and her heart's always been here. And again, we brought her back with some grant dollars that are coming back to help fund both her position and some recreation programming that's going to go on. So, Tanya, welcome back. Come on up.
Thank you, Mayor. You said it all. I am so looking forward to coming back to the city of Romulus. I have missed it so much and tried to still hang around and do whatever I could for our kids. This means so much to me. You guys just don't have any idea. It's such a blessing. And I'm just really looking forward to coming back and having some fun with the kids and re-meeting some new kids and just program.
What I love about Tanya is it's all about the kids, making sure the kids have good activities and as it should be. So welcome back, Tanya.
Thank you.
A couple other things just to make mention. We did do a quarterly newsletter that went out. If for some reason residents did not get it, let us know. We do have some here also at City Hall. Again, really kind of going back to trying to tell people what's going on. We're trying to do it a lot of different ways. If it's newsletter, website, meetings, the visioning process, taking our meetings on the road with staff. We can't do enough to communicate with the public. So, or if you have comments or feedback on it, we'd love to hear that too. But that also went out this last week. I do have something I'd like to request if Council would in way of a resolution, and this is for the Barden, Hamilton, Summers, Rosner family reunion that's coming up. The late Don H. Barden discussed the idea of having a family reunion with his parents, brothers and sisters, and grandmother, and it was in celebration originally of Ida Lee Rosner Barden's 87th birthday back in 1965. He felt the birthday party was like one big family reunion. Each year thereafter, on a Saturday or Sunday prior to the 4th of July, it's been an annual event. The reunion is started out as a Barden family reunion, but grew and encompasses now 3 basic roots of the family tree: the Barden, Hamilton, Sumner, and Rosner families. The reunion has grown from the estimated 50 or so family members back in 1965 to now 300 to 500 family members throughout 2013. The family history includes countless examples of loving support for each other, unity during difficult times, providing comfort in sad times, encouraging young relatives to obtain good education, and not being afraid to say, "I love you" to others. And that's coming up this Saturday, so I'd like to ask if Council would pass a resolution of recognition for that family reunion, please.
I'll
make that motion to acknowledge the family reunion.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Makowski, for a resolution for the Barton Hamilton Summers Rozier family reunion. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo? Chair votes yes. Motion approved, and thank you.
Thank you, Council. A reminder to the public, also coming up this next week is the Free Dumping Week from the 23rd to the 28th. It's also on the cable as well, too. There are bins set up by our DPW that we will be accepting non-hazardous waste. We talk about dumping. This is not the hazardous material that the county often has programs that were spoke of earlier. So this is a good opportunity for people to clean up things in their yard that they are non-hazardous they want to dispose of. The last request before my normal business report, unfortunately, I would like to ask council for a memorial resolution. And this last Friday, Barney Lee Rogers passed away, 72 years old, from Romulus. He leaves a wife, kids, grandkids, and great-grandchildren. Just a real shock that it happened suddenly. I can tell you, personally knowing Mr. Rogers, he was a great man of faith, very active in his church. Just a guy that always saw the half glass full. He loved his family, was not afraid to talk about his feelings and his views, no matter what they may be. But he's loved by a lot of people, and there's a lot of family members that are hurting at this point in time. There's a visitation tomorrow at Crane's. There's a funeral Wednesday at his church, which is, I have it here, it's the Romulus Free Will Baptist Church on Tobine. And so keep their family in your thoughts and prayers, but I wanted to ask for a resolution officially from council, if you would.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
If I may, I'd like for us to provide a resolution, a memorial resolution for Mr. Barney Lee Rogers.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate, for memorial resolution for Barney Lee Rogers. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Correct. Yes.
Ms. Abdo? Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. Now under my business report, we'll get into that. First thing up, which is going to require two actions or motions, is 5A. And what you have before you, believe it or not, we're talking about salt here in end of June. But to be prepared for a winter, we need to make sure that we're planning ahead. So the first one is to concur with the administration award bid TTBFH 13/14-1811 for the purchase of road salt for this upcoming fiscal year to the lowest bidder, Detroit Salt Company, at a per ton price of $46.61, and for early deliverance, and $47.01 to purchase made after that. There's different price breaks on that. So that's the first request.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
I move that we concur with the administration and award bid ITB-FH-13-14-1811 for the purchase of road salt for 2014-2015 winter salt season to the lowest bidder, Detroit Salt Company, at a per ton price of $46.61 for early deliveries and $47.01 for purchases made after October 1st, 2014.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate, to concur with administration and award bid ITB-FH 13-14-1811 for the purchase of road salt for the 2014-15 winter salt season to the lowest bidder, Detroit Salt Company, at a per ton price of $46.61 for the early delivery and $47.01 for purchase made after October the 1st, 2014. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
And the second one really is the additional bid for the following year. What we need to do is, and the benefit by locking in on salt, if you recall, this last winter was a tough season. The municipalities that had locked in on salt were able to continue to get salt. We had communities contacting us that could not get salt because they had not locked in with Detroit Salt or other companies on a municipal bid. So we're trying to be proactive and make sure we're locked in for the following year.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms.
I
Choate.
would like to make that motion that we concur and authorize the extension of this bid for the purchase of the road salt for the 2015-2016 winter salt season from Detroit Salt Company, and the purchase is not to exceed budgeted funds.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Mikowski, to concur with the administration and authorize extension of bid ITB FH 13-14-1811 for the purchase of road salt for 2015 and 2016 winter salt season from the Detroit Salt Company. Purchase not to exceed budgeted funds. Any discussion?
Just, if I may?
Yes,
Just one point to mention is that the city did this as a cooperative contract with other cities, so
Thank you.
driving the best purchase
Best
price.
quantity price, you got
Yep,
it.
so
Thank you.
good job.
Great point, Ms. Mikowski. Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yep.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is 5B, and what you have before you is a request administration award bid ITB 13/14-22, and that's the acquisition of 2 one-ton dump trucks and dump bodies with the packages listed, and those are basically snowplow trucks as well. The bidder was Red Holman GMC. The amount was $88,044, and those were budgeted out of the motor vehicle capital outlay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
if I
Ms.
may?
Mikowski.
I'd like to make the motion that we concur with administration and award bid ITB 13/14-22 to acquire 2 new dump trucks.
All right.
Yes, yes, and this is exciting. So that's good enough for now.
Okay.
That's good.
Any support?
So I'll support that.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Mikowski, supported by Ms. Choke, to concur with the administration award bid ITB 13/14-22 for the acquisition of 2 one-ton dump trucks with dump bodies, towing packages, tarp system, and western wipeout with hydraulic extension snowplows to the most responsible and responsive bidder, Red Holton GMC, in the amount of $88,044. Any discussion effort? Roll call vote. Ms. Mikowski.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council, and I will pass on your enthusiasm for the dump trucks to the DPW. Next up is 5C. What you have before you is a request to concur with administration award 13/14-23. And Jan, don't jump up and down yet, but this is to remove a portion of the existing fence at the Romulus Memorial Cemetery, installation of 420 feet of a new fence, the lowest qualified bidder, RMD Holding Company, that's doing business as Nationwide Construction Group. The amount's $8,225. Those funds are available in the general fund, building, grounds, and capital outlay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I'll make the motion to concur with the administration and award 13/14-23 for the removal of a portion of the existing fence at Romulus Memorial Cemetery and for the installation of 420 feet of new fencing to the lowest qualified bidder, RMD Holding LTD, doing business as Nationwide Construction Group, in the amount of $8,225.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut, to concur with the administration award 13/14-23 for the removal of a portion of the existing fence at Romulus Memorial Cemetery for the installation of 420 feet of new fencing to the lowest qualified bidder, RMD Holdings LTD, to be announced Nationwide Construction Group, in the amount of $8,225. Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up, under 5D, is a request to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to enter into an agreement with the state of Michigan for the Wayne Road Sidewalk construction project. And what you see in your included packet is the city portion of $202,000 as part of that joint agreement.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make that motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to enter into an agreement with the state of Michigan for the Wayne Road sidewalk from Herman Street to Goddard construction project.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Makowski, to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to enter into agreement with the state of Michigan for the Wayne Road sidewalk, that's Herman Street to Garter construction project. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
I have a question. I'm sure Mr. Keys can answer my question. Will there be any kind of barrier under the viaducts dividing up the street to sidewalks?
Yes, you will. So, as you move across the entrance and exit ramps and start going underneath the viaduct, there will be guardrails to
Guardrails.
protect the pedestrians through that area.
I know, I thought, especially in the wintertime, when it might be slippery, if someone should slip and fall and slide right out into the street.
Yes.
So that would be a bit dangerous without some guardrails there. So thank you, Mr. Keys.
It's going to be a great project, Ms. Choate. They're
I'm
basically,
looking
this is an
forward to it.
area that we really needed some pedestrian walkway. It was really a coup to get this pulled through and get state support on it, because, you know, getting a walkway that's crossing many different entrance ramps to a state highway, they have to cut back the hill on that west side to do it. As you recall, the reason we changed some of the phasing of the Goddard Road was to accommodate the fact that in 2015 is when this is going to be done. We have to have that whole intersection, that area work smooth together. So there's been a lot of times, I know many of us have seen people in bicycles or wheelchairs going down Wayne Road under those viaducts, and now they'll have a safe pathway from Goddard Road up through the high school. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next up, what you have is a request to adopt this Title VI non-discrimination plan approved by Michigan Department of Transportation and required for federal funding road projects. So as we go after state funding, this is basically goes back to a 1964 congressional act that we have this in place, and it's been also through our legal counsel as well.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Abdo?
I'll make that motion to adopt the Title VI non-discrimination plan approved by the Michigan Department of Transportation and required for federal fund road project recipients.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Makowski, to adopt the Title VI non-discrimination plan approved by the Michigan Department of Transportation and required for the federal fund road project recipient. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next up, what you have before you is 5F, and this is to adopt a right-of-way telecommunication agreement for Fiber Technologies LLC for the use of existing phone poles and underground conduit for the purpose of constructing fiber optic network extensions for its service customer, and they're basically making enhancements to the fiber optic network.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the right-of-way telecommunication agreement with Fiber Technologies LLC for the use of existing telephone poles or underground conduit for the purpose of constructing a fiber optic network extension to its service customers.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski, to adopt the right-of-way telecommunication agreement with Fiber Technologies LLC for the use of existing telephone poles or underground conduit for the purpose of constructing a fiber optic network extension to a service customer. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you very much, Council. Next up is 5G. What you have before you is a request to approve the appointment of Susan Marino, our Financial Service Director, to serve as the Employee Health Care Plan and Trust Committee member, as you met her earlier.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms.
if
Makowski.
I may, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the appointment of Ms. Suzanne Moreno, Financial Services Director, to serve on the Employee Health Care Plan and Trust Committee.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to approve the appointment of Susan Moreno, Financial Service Director, to serve on Employee Health Care Plan and Trust Committee. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is 5H. What you have before you is a introduction of budget amendment 13/14-11, and that's to move some unused funds from the 13-14 budget to the 14-15 budget for Brant Road project. It's a $54,223. As you recall, that was some additional money we got because of the bad winter that we earmarked for a road that is pretty much deteriorating.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Kowski?
if I may, I'd like to make the motion that we introduce the budget amendment 14/15-1 to move unused funds in the amount of $54,223 from the 2013-14 budget into the 2014-15 budget for the Brant Road project.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to introduce Budget Amendment 13/14-11 to move unused funds from the 2013-14 budget into the 2014-15 budget for the Brant Road project. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And the last item that we amended agenda for due to timing is 5I. And what you have before you is a request to concur with the administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a consultant services tri-party agreement with Orchard Hills McClement for the Goddard Road project, which is Romaine Street through Wayne Road.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate?
I would like to make a motion that we concur with the administration and authorize mayor and clerk to enter into a consultant services tri-party agreement with Orchard Hills and McClimate for the Goddard Road project, Romaine Street to Wayne Road.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the construction consultant service tri-party agreement with Orchard Hill and McClinton for the Goddard Road project, Romaine Street to Wayne Road. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr.
Sorry.
Kraut?
Sorry,
Yes.
could we have discussion?
Yes, discussion.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just had a question. I just wanted to make sure, since this was part of the amended agenda, I didn't get the
I
chance to
understand.
review the entire contract, so I'm going to trust that our attorneys got that all squared away. But I wanted to ask, this is something that we've already agreed. This is
Yes.
just the final contract.
Yes,
Good
and
enough.
and what this is for the construction management that they're going to provide for us to ensure that we get the road that we pay for that is bid out. So,
Thank you,
and I
Kyle.
apologize, I don't like doing amended agendas, the timing, and we were able to get this to you in urgency of getting that road going. If I didn't bring it tonight in amended agenda, I would have
It'd
to
be
wait 2 weeks.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood
That's
what
what
was
it's
the
for,
scope.
and that's the
Perfect.
Goddard Road project that you've already approved.
Yep, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Choate?
And that will still, the Goddard Road project will still be done next year?
It'll be, the phases are gonna change. They have a meeting this Wednesday to finalize some of that with the county, but it looks like we're still gonna do from downtown to Wayne Road this year, all but the finish coat, if you recall, and then downtown next year. You know, originally, we were trying to get it all this year, and you know the story with that. When it didn't happen, it came in overbid, but that's still the plan.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council, and that concludes my report.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report. Before I present my agenda items, I just have a couple of announcements, and it relates to elections. And this year, there are 2 elections. August 5th is the primary election. November 4th will be the general election. The last day to register to vote for the primary election is July 7th, so it's fast approaching. And just want to remind those for first-time voters, particularly if you have students going away, moving away for college, and they are registered, or they want to register to vote. If they register by mail, then they will have to vote in person. That also goes for new residents. If you're a new resident here in Romulus and you registered by mail, you will have to vote in person, you would not be eligible for an AV ballot. For parents that you do have students that will be going away, if you bring them to the clerk's office, as long as we register them face-to-face, then they would be eligible for an absentee ballot. And with regards to absentee ballots, ballots will be going out this Friday, the 27th. And so if you did apply for an absentee ballot, you can look for those next week. And also, sample ballots will be available next week after the AV ballots have gone out. We just received all the shipments, so we have to unpack and get things ready. So if you'd like a sample ballot, they will be available in the clerk's office beginning next week. And also, we provided some extra information in the newsletter that went out. We have election information. And also, we like to encourage you to visit our website. And we have a lot of information there. If you'd like to obtain an absentee ballot form or a voter registration application, all of those forms are available on our city's website. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clinton. Yes, Ms. Choate.
Is it still permissible that for students who are going away to college, if they've not yet turned 18, they still must get registered if they're 18 on or before Election Day?
Yes.
That's still
Yes.
in place?
They didn't
And-
change that one.
And also with the August election, you still have to designate whether you're going to vote Republican or Democrat?
Yes, it is a partisan election. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the clerk's report, 6A1, and for second reading and final adoption is the municipal fee schedule. And since the first reading, which was on Monday, May the 12th, the following changes have been made to the fee schedule. And one was for the, under animal control, the kennel inspections. And what we did is after the first reading, we had the attorney go through it one more time to make sure we're in line and checking against ordinances and things. So we did discover under the animal control, initially we had 3 to 4 dogs, but about a year ago, that ordinance was amended, and so it's now 4 to 5 dogs. So we had to change the fee with regards to private kennels. So it went up from $15 to $25 because there are more dogs that are involved. Also, for the assessor, initially, there were fees that were submitted regarding land division, combination, and what it is, what we discovered is that it's governed by ordinance, so we can't change those fees unless there's an ordinance amendment. So coming up, there will be an ordinance amendment so that in the near future, basically, that we'll be able to amend those fees from time to time. So we have to change the ordinance first, so we excluded those proposed fees from the assessor's office. And also with DPW, we had a request with regards to the temporary grave markers. There's a complimentary temporary marker that's put out by DPW, but what's happened is that we've had people, they think that these are permanent markers. They're only temporary markers, and there's a huge cost associated, with creating these temporary markers. So they've asked it to replace those markers at a fee be associated with that. So that's $50, and that does include material and time. And so those were the changes to the fee schedule since the first reading.
You had another question, Ms.
Yes, I have another question with regard to the temporary markers. I've noticed that some of the markers they were run over by the lawnmowers and destroyed. So is there a $50 fee to replace a marker that the city destroyed?
Well, I think if it's something like that, there's not a problem with the city replacing those. There has been families habitually that, 3 and 4 temporary markers, they've come, and so there was a concern there. And so DPW asked us to look into that, so that's why.
Thank you. Can I have one other question? On the fee schedule, I don't remember seeing, when we had the study session on it, a fee change for alley vacation. We have not had a request for alley vacation in the last 3 or 4 years. However, it does come up from time to time. And the fee, even when I was clerk, was only $200, and there's so much work involved in alley vacation that it should be increased.
Well, what we can do, Councilwoman Choate, is that we'll look into that once this, the schedule is adopted and it's enacted, and so we can go ahead and look into the alley vacations and kind of do an assessment of that so that we can look at those fees.
Thank you.
Also, I just want to point out is that the fees, if council approves the second reading, is that the fee schedule, the proposed fees will go into effect July 1st. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would be willing to make the motion that we grant second reading and final adoption of the attached fee schedule.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for the second reading and final adoption of the municipal fee schedule. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. 6A2, I'm requesting a study session for Monday, July 14th at 7:15. This would just be a 15-minute study session, and it is to discuss the ordinance amendment that would affect the assessor's fees. And this would be for, again, July 14th at 7:15. And if council would approve this special meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
I move that we schedule a study session from, on Monday, July 14th at 7:15 to discuss the ordinance amendment.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Abdo, for the study session request from City Clerk for Monday, July 14th, 2014, at 7:15 p.m. to discuss an ordinance amendment. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A3, the city planner, Carol Mays, is recommending the following reappointments to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Emery Long, which is a reappointment, and this would be for 3 years, the term to expire June 30th, 2017. And also for Julie Allison, and this is also a reappointment, a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2017.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I'll make that motion that we concur with administration and appoint Emery Long, reappointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and Julie Allison, also reappointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Makowski, for Board of Zoning Appeals appointments, reappointments, Emery Long and Julie Allison. Both very good choices for reappointment. Any other discussion? Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Votes yes, motion approved.
6A4, study session request from City Treasurer Stacy Page for Monday, July 14th at 7:00 p.m., and this is to discuss the city third quarter investments.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
I move that we schedule a study session as requested from our city treasurer, Stacy Page, for Monday, July 14th at 7 p.m. to discuss the city's third quarter investments.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate, for study session request from City Treasurer Stacy Page for Monday, July the 14th, 2014, at 7 p.m. to discuss city third quarter investments. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A5, new water rates to be effective July 1st. Mr. Chair, we do have a request to speak under this agenda item, and I don't know if you want them to go ahead and speak now before
Sure.
council takes action or motions on the floor.
Sure, they can speak. Who would like to speak?
This is Virginia Williams.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, Virginia Williams, to the mayor, council, clerk, and treasurer. It appears to me that the water rates keep going up. Is it a specific reason for that?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, there is a specific reason. We get our rates from the city of Detroit, and they're broken down to different percentages. What's before us is overall about a 5% increase. And I mean, if you want details, Abby can speak on it in detail as far as where those breakouts are, but it's an option that comes to council, and we're basically a customer of the city of Detroit, so that's where we get ours passed on, and that's where
Well,
those
the
come from.
city of Detroit in 2012, 2013, 2014, the base rate for Romulus water was $7.58. That's what Detroit charged the city of Romulus. And then Romulus put a spin on it and charged $25. $25.50. So Detroit did go up, but they only went up to $8.13, the charge to the city of Romulus. And the city of Romulus went up $26.41. So I am aware that every city in the suburb like to say it's Detroit's fault. But Detroit charge a certain rate to the cities in the suburb. And then the city in the suburbs put their spin on it. Now, I am aware of the residents of Inkster. They were being charged $15.30. They went before a judge, and the judge ruled that to be unfair, unreasonable. So he dropped it down to a little over $12. Now, for the city of Detroit to charge us $8.13, and the city of Romulus to turn around and charge the residents $26.41, that's like triple. For what reason?
Chairman, I would like to correct a couple things. I never mentioned anything about the city of Detroit blaming them. I just said we're a customer
Excuse me?
of the city of Detroit, and I'm talking to the chairperson, so he understands that and council does. Also, the spin put on things, we buy water and from the city of Detroit. We also have to provide service to service the water in the line. So there's often a difference in what the city charges a community and what communities feel they need to pay for fees to cover the service they provide. So that's what I believe she was referring to.
Excuse me, I don't need you to speak for me. What I was referring to is what I said. I said, and I asked the council. You don't have a vote, so I'm asking the council because they're the one to vote on it. Mr. Burcroft, I'm not trying to get into a debate with you.
And I'm making sure council has the information. I address council, and that's, I'm not speaking for anybody other than myself, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I have documents of what the city of Detroit charges Romulus. I'm trying to get an understanding, Mr. Mayor, because my money is going out to pay my water bill. So if I'm being overcharged, I want you to know I'm not happy. And I will take the steps to stop it. It's like for the last 3 months, or I'll say the last quarter, this is the second time that Romulus asked for a rate increase. For what?
Ms. Abdul, would you
Is it gold in the water?
like to speak on that?
Make Agnes, yeah.
Would you like to speak to that?
How about we let her finish? I don't know if she has other comments, so we'd be happy to have our finance assistant director speak on it if you like, Mr. Chair.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. You can't tell me what other comments I have, okay? Please. Right. So I don't need you to speak for me. You can speak for others, but not for me. I'm asking the council before they take a vote on it that the citizens will be clear, okay? I'm not trying to argue with you or the council. I just want to know why is it that the city of Detroit charges us the amount of money that they charge us, but Romulus put such a big spin on it. That's triple.
Okay, what I think is, once you finish your questions, the finance director can address some of the questions.
So no one, council, you're continually voting to raise the rates on the water, but you don't know why.
Well, see, we get our information from the city finance director, attorneys, That's not our expertise to go in there line by line on water. We count on our finance director, like, when they address things for the city that we buy, we might not be purchasing agency, but we have to go on their education, giving us the information. So that's
But-
why I wanted to let the finance director, maybe she can be able to answer some questions.
Okay, and I appreciate that, Mr. Barton. But I also know, as elected officials, we as residents put you in office to make sure that the residents wouldn't be taken advantage of. And that's what my concern was. And I would appreciate when I'm talking to a council person that the mayor hold his peace. Say it some other time. Because the people want to know. Why is it that we are being charged triple the amount that the city of Detroit is charging the city around us? Because, and I did not say that the mayor said it. It was said previously in the other administration and our past administration that it was the city of Detroit's fault. And clearly, it's not. It's what Romulus choose to charge the residents. So I just wanted to make that clear. And if someone, you don't have to run up here and give me some lame excuse, but find out why. Because I don't appreciate the city of Detroit charging me one fee and then Romulus putting a triple spin on it. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
The finance director, would you like to come up and speak on that? Maybe, you know, clear something up.
Good evening. The city of Detroit's rate is not just the commodity rate that was spoken of, but they also charge us a flat rate. That's over $1 million, about $1.1 million we have to pay the city of Detroit as well in a fixed fee. And that rate from the city of Detroit is, if we went to their interceptor and got water from their interceptor, that's what it would cost. But to have it delivered into Romulus, into the various homes, there's additional cost. We have meter readers, we have several Teamster employees that work for the water department. Their wages are paid through the rates as well. And their benefits go up every year. There's other costs involved. When there's a main break, sewer repair, it comes out of that fund. So that fund has to have, you know, ample money to cover those costs. There was no water rate increase last year. Nothing came before council for a water rate increase. So now we have 2 years of expenses that we need to kind of catch up with. That's what happens when we don't increase rates every year, and we didn't last year. We had a water rate study 2 years ago. Professionals came in, actually about 3 years ago, and analyzed our water rates, and we were deficient. We needed more capital to build our capital and our ratings. So with that, and you know, the auditors have given us the okay. So I'm a Romulus resident as well. I pay a water bill. So I'm not trying to make the rates, you know, so high, or this administration isn't trying to just, you know, soak the residents and build this fund up, but we keep it down as minimal as we can to cover our costs. And even council, when when we presented the original budget, before I had a chance to work on the rates, it was a deficit, an operating deficit. We needed to raise the rates just for the fund to break even. So
And if I
it's not
could,
just the city
Mr.
of
Chairman, to
Detroit.
back up what Abby said, I was on council when that came up, and our direction the prior year was to not increase it, right, Abby? We said, please, let's try to not have any increase. We did not last year. In our budget sit-downs, when we worked with the departments, and at the time Debbie Hoffman was here, and Abby, we said that we can't obviously run in a deficit, so we said, let's try to keep it as minimal as possible. We understand that water is sensitive, but we do provide a valuable service. And, you know, we have people that are trying to work smarter with meters and trying to make sure we're getting more efficiencies out of the system, but we do buy the water. We do have responsibilities to pay as a customer from the city of Detroit. And we have responsibility to citizens to keep their water lines working and fresh water to their house and do testing and other things that they have to do. So we meet all the requirements by law. So we tried to be as economical as possible. I'm sorry that this year there is a recommended change in that. I wish we didn't have to do that. and I don't blame anybody for that. And I do also want to make reference that when you called on me earlier, that's why I addressed council, Mr. Chairman, not to answer for any council person or answer for any resident, but when you call on me, I will answer your questions. Thank you.
Mr. Abdo, you had a question?
Yes, the water rates do seem quite exorbitant. I'm just wondering if we could get a breakdown as to why. You know, I understand, but actually have it written down, what brought us to this figure. You talked about, well, we have Teamster employees, some sort of breakdown that might be easier to accept. People in the community might understand it more, because I think it's awful. I think people at
Mr.
Ms.
Chairman, there
Williams
was a
maybe.
memo that stated the breakdown of the percentages that was in the packet.
And
Other than,
What else are you looking for, I guess?
well, how did you come up with that figure in terms of, you talked about employees being paid? I didn't see all that in here. I'm sorry if it is in here. I didn't see that.
I have that documentation, very specifics, how the rate.
That's what I'm
how we
looking
came-
for.
Yes. In
that's
general-
not in the packet.
In general, though, I could tell you, not only the wages and fringes, but there are different contractual services, admin fees. So if you take the water budget and you divide that by the amount of water that we expect to sell over the next year, that's kind of how the rate, that's real rough, but that's kind of how we come up with the rate. And our rate is per 1,000 cubic feet, too. So when you look at other communities, you have to make sure they're billing the same way. Some might bill per 100 gallons, or, just different ways. So we got to make sure when you look at other communities, you're comparing the same billing structure. But I can get that for council.
And for the public, so that it might be easier for people to accept. I'm just trying to see where we're gonna go from here. I mean, it's obvious that we needed to raise the rates, but it is a very large increase.
5%, right? Sorry, just
And
requesting.
I think the city went up on us 7.5%, and our rates went up 5%.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thanks.
I just wanted to bring that point out, that it wasn't, 5% is not that large, really, when we look at the overall and the fact. Let me ask a question then. Are we doing capital with this as well, or is it just repairs and maintenance?
Pretty much maintenance
Okay.
right now, yes.
Sorry, but would that fund be for
The water
rainy
and
days?
sewer fund have to be used for all projects within that category. That's a designated fund, so
Yeah.
you could say anything that's in those funds would fall into those categories.
Strictly
We're mostly doing
restricted.
maintenance.
Strictly
Abby, question for you. How does that 5% stack up to other communities when you look around the other suburbs of Detroit that are also customers of the Detroit water system?
The last time I did a survey, it's been a little less than a year ago, we were right in the middle. There were some communities more than us, and we weren't the lowest, we were pretty much midway.
Any other discussion?
Well,
Joe?
the only thing, Water and Sewer Department is self-supporting. We're not permitted to use any general fund money to support Water and Sewer Department. And all of the equipment, the trucks that they use, the backhoes, all of that equipment has to come out of Water and Sewer Fund. I think, at least there was this state requirement that equipment must be depreciated every year. And we have to have a fund where so much money is deposited in that fund every year, so that at the end of 10 years, you can buy a piece of equipment and you have the cash to pay for it. All the meters, if you put in new water meter in homes, the homeowner doesn't pay for that. We have to pay for that. So there's an awful lot of equipment, people, maintenance, and so forth that has to come out of that water and sewer fund. And there again, no general fund money is permitted to be used for water and sewer. It's a self-supporting department. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Any more?
Right, and I can read this again. The subject is just for the public. is that no action is required unless council disapproves the new water and sewer rates, and this is pursuant to section 36-112, paragraph C of the Romulus Code of Ordinances.
Just a clarification, I think
Yes, go ahead.
37, right? 37 dash, just in case.
Yes.
I just want to make
Sorry,
sure.
there are two there, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, no,
Yes,
that's
it is
okay.
37.
Just want to make sure.
You're right.
Covered. That never gets old hearing that.
No,
Sorry.
No. My apologies
No,
there,
it's
it's
okay.
looking different, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item under the clerk's office, and this was added, another amendment to the agenda, and we added 6A6. And Police Captain Joshua Monte is requesting a half-an-hour study session for Monday, July 14th, 2014, at 6:30 p.m., and this is to discuss the adoption of a new ordinance pertaining to minors in possession of spray paint.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make that motion for the study session request from Police Captain Joshua Monte for Monday, July 14th, 2014, at 6:30 p.m. to discuss a new ordinance pertaining to minors in possession of spray paint.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Mikowski, for the study session request from Police Captain Joshua Monte on Monday, July the 14th, 2014, at 6:30 p.m. to discuss a new ordinance pertaining to minors in possession of spray paint. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
McCow-
actually, under discussion, I just wanted to mention that part of the reason we're bringing this to you is that there currently is no ordinance. We're trying to crack down on graffiti, and it's against the law to sell to minors, but there's nothing that ties into possession. And if we're going to crack down on graffiti, and we are going to be, that's one of our rocks this quarter, is to clean up graffiti, we need to have some ordinance to go after kids who are walking around with spray cans. That makes sense. So that's kind of the reason why. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, that concludes the clerk's report. 6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, and audience. I have two items under my report tonight. The first one is the request for school tax collection agreement. For our residents, I just want to make sure that you are informed. The school board did agree to do 100% tax collection, 100% tax collection for summer of 2015. They want to get the information out there so you can prepare for that. The board did agree to do that, and I am just informing you and bringing it to council's attention. So I am respectfully requesting that council approval for the city to enter into the attached tax collection agreement with the Romulus Community Schools. This agreement shall be effective for the 15th, 16th school year commencing July 1st, 2015, and continuing thereafter. Details and clarification are provided in the agreement.
I'll make a motion
Okay, Ms. Mikowski?
that we approve the contract with the revision to go from twice-a-year tax collection to one time per year in the summer tax beginning 2015.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Mikowski, supported by Ms. Abdo, for Romulus Community School Tax Collection Agreement as mentioned. Any discussion?
Yes. We did have a study session earlier. Mr. Barden, I don't know if you want to talk about that, or?
Go ahead.
Okay. So we had a study session earlier, and it was determined in the past that, so if I get something incorrect, please correct me, but last year, the school board came to us, to the city council last year, and requested that that be instituted, summer tax collection. But the city council at that time disagreed with that because there wasn't enough warning for the public. And it was also discussed earlier that the fact is that us voting on it, it's meaningless because the school board has the authority to collect the ask for the taxes when they want them. We're just the personnel that takes care of collecting the tax. So whether we vote yes or no on this, it happens anyway. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say about this. Well, Ms. Abdo, you made the good point about this would help us, but.
Most school districts do it this way. Secondly, the deficit elimination plan that the school is under is requiring this, that they collect ahead of time. We were discussing this on the side, and I can't speak for sure, but most of us pay our taxes ahead it won't make that big a difference. Most of us pay, I know I do through my mortgage, pay my taxes ahead of time. It's always a year ahead. So you're not going to see a big change. It's just reshuffling the payments that you have. Those that don't go through a mortgage company, it does mean planning out that you're going to have to get your payments in. Again, we are one of the few school districts that has not gone to this. And they really had no choice. The state mandated it.
I think it's important to mention as well, it is not increasing your taxes. You will still pay the same amount. You're just paying more on your summer tax bill and less on your winter tax bill. It would be my recommendation that if you do have a mortgage company, that you contact them and ask them how this affects you. I don't want to speak for the mortgage companies because there's many out there, but I do encourage you to do that. I understand that some people will not like this because they may pay their tax bill on their own, and there is some planning with that. I recommend that if you have any questions, to call the school board, let them know what your concerns are and your questions, and of course, you can also attend a school board meeting. But this is something that has already been approved through the school board, and I do collect the taxes, and then we disperse them back to the school. It is our job to do that, and of course, we want to work with our schools. We want our schools to be successful. Without schools, it's not good for the city, so we want to be able to work with them. Anything that I can do to help you, if you have any questions that I can answer, please call me. I'm always available. And you can reach me at 734-942-7580. Thank you.
Mr. Barton?
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
One point I'd like to make is the fact that what we're doing is we're agreeing to collect the taxes for the schools. It has nothing to do with us approving or agreeing or disagreeing with how they want them collected, whether they want them collected twice a year or once a year. We're agreeing to collect those taxes for them, and after we collect them, then we give them over to the schools. The other point is they could go out to an outside agency and have someone else do their tax collecting. And if they did that, then you would get actually 2 tax bills, one from the city, one from the schools, and it would involve a lot of, I'm sure it would cause them to have more administration fees and, and to hire a company to do that. We are agreeing to still collect their taxes for them, turn their taxes over to them. This has nothing to do with us approving whether or not how they agree to disperse them, how they want them collected, once a year, twice a year, 4 times a year, whatever it may be. But really out of our hands, but it's still better for the city to have one tax bill coming from the city, less confusion as far as that goes, and not have to have the school. If we voted against this, they'd have to go to if they still wanted to do it this way, they would have to go to an outside agency and find someone else to do their tax collecting for them besides us doing it for them.
And Mr. Barton, just one more thing, and that is, when we think about, it's been mentioned that we want our schools to be healthy, and doing it this way, the schools will be able to reduce the interest that they have to pay to get loans, to pay payroll, et cetera, because, having a payday twice a year is kind of tough to manage. So it's better for the schools, and we're here to support the schools.
Mr. Chairman, just a
Yes,
couple other points. A lot of great points were covered by council. It was mentioned in the study session earlier, this is part of their deficit elimination plan. By not passing this causes them to have to go back to the state. The state does not have a track record of amending deficit elimination plans. They've had some, pretty unfriendly things to say to districts that are not. If you did not approve this and they had to go to an outside agency, they would be paying an additional fees to do that. That also would penalize the schools and work against their deficit elimination plan. So those are just things to consider. I don't get a vote, but I do support and want to help our schools, and I definitely agree that to have a healthy community, we need healthy schools. So just a couple things to pass along.
Any other discussion?
Well,
Ms. Choate?
there's only one other thing about that. As long as we collect their taxes, we get the administration fee off of that too. So we get earn a little bit of money from it, and if they go to an outside agency, we lose all that. So.
Okay. It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Abdo. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Reluctantly, yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
I have one more item under my report, and I'd like to ask council for a memorial resolution for the family of Craig Wiedemann. He was born January 27th, 1954. He passed away on June 18th, 2014. His viewing and service was today. He is a Romulus resident. His wife works for Romulus Transportation, and he leaves behind his wife, children, grandchildren, a host of family and friends. So I just ask that you please keep his family in your thoughts and your prayers.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
I'd like to request that City Council approve a memorial resolution for Mr. Craig Wiedemann and his family.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate for memorial resolution for Craig and his family. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
I'm sorry, I do have one more thing I would like to share. For our taxpayers, I am using a new printing company, and the purpose of doing that is to save taxpayer money, which we did. We saved some money. So your bill will look slightly different, but all the same information is on there. It's just organized a little bit differently. So I just want to make sure that you are aware of that. Again, if you have any questions, please contact the treasurer's office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is a portion of our meeting where those in the audience can address council with your comments. If you would like to address council, please raise your hand. After you've been acknowledged by the chair, we ask that you approach the podium, state your name, and we ask that please that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Mr. Chair, I do have one request, written request to speak. Lita Pollard?
Yes.
If you can come to the podium, please.
Hi, my name is Nita Pollard. I'm a resident of Romulus here, to the mayor, city council, everyone here. I'm back again with a complaint about the property that's facing Wayne Road that's next to my property. I believe they let the person who owned the property know that the grass need cutting. That's not the problem, because they keep coming out cutting the grass. It's just the big old bush and the bushes that's surrounding it. That's the problem. I have the pictures here again. I'm glad we have someone new in place. They keep coming out to my house. We send them out a request to come and fix the property. They're not getting it. The grass doesn't need cutting, because after a while, it's not going to be any grass to cut. And right behind me, I believe the Lewises own that property. I had an estimate, someone come out, and just for an L-shaped property fence, it's going to cost me $4,000. I don't have $4,000 to put up a privacy fence right now. The garbage is still behind me in the lot. It has not been picked up. The grass hasn't been cut. The bushes is still growing. The house next to that, I went over there and I talked to the people over there. It's going on 2 years. They still haven't fixed the fence. You could see it from my street. In my yard, the fence is torn down because they're not cutting back their trees. I just need some help. You know, I was out there on my deck, I guess it was last Sunday, barbecuing, went in the house, come back on the porch. I couldn't come back on the porch because a big raccoon out there on my porch. You know, I can't even enjoy my backyard because of everything else around it. And I think it's unfair. We're talking about raising the water bill, paying the taxes. I'm a taxpayer, and I can't get anything done. And I just need some help. I know when you get past a certain, I guess, the high school, you get past that, you don't see anything getting done. You know, my brother just came up here and spoke, Harold Pollard, about the road condition over there on 4th Street. You know, I don't even like to go over there because it's going to tear up my car. I already done had one tire blow. We just need some help over in that area. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, we'll make sure we get her information and try to find out what, if any of those violations are. She's with the Director of Ordinance right now, so we'll check into it. Thank you.
That was the last
That's
written
the last
request.
written?
Yes.
Okay, for the audience, I think, Ms. Lemon?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jan Lemon, Chairman of the Cemetery Board of Trustees. When we started this committee 5 years ago, 2009, it was a battle uphill all the way. Today, the cemetery looks beautiful. Over the last 6 weeks, I have been in there many, many times, and I have run into ladies crying because it was in bad shape. We had to take time to get the proper person that could go in there and do the work and do it all in one day. That really didn't happen, Mayor. This gentleman who has the contract now, he had his crew in there 2 or 3 days, and he had a large crew of people. Every headstone is whipped around. All the grass is mowed. The cemetery finally looks beautiful. Now, for those of you at home who they really don't understand what the mayor said in his speech today, that fence that is coming down is going to put that beautiful section of grass along Sterling and McBride into the cemetery. That is going to be one wide open space, and it's going to be beautiful. I just have to thank the cemetery board members and the council who have put up with my complaining, Mr. Keys, the mayor, the previous council. But you know the old saying, the squeaking wheel gets the grease. And today we've got it. The cemetery is going to be beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon.
Can I clap?
Is there any more comments? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, councilman, council members, and audience. My name is Natalie Waleed. I'm at 6066 Colorado Street, and I have a couple comments, one on the issue of the summer tax collection. To follow along with the new administration's philosophy of transparency, I'd really like to have a little more advance notice when these really critical issues with regard to money are going to be affecting me. I'd like to see something on the website, utilize a new technology and give us a winter tax bill and a summer tax bill and highlight exactly which school fees are going to be moved forward with some arrows onto them so that we can all understand exactly how this is going to affect us, those of us who have our mortgages, our taxes handled through our mortgages, and those who do not. You know, that's something that when you make the agenda, when you're going to have a vote on this, it informs the citizenry so that they can understand, so that you have a little less enmity with regard to these kinds of changes. Similarly with the water increase. So I think that any reasonable person understands that fringe benefit salaries go up and that kind of thing, but the average citizen is just being inundated with relatively flat wages, and everything keeps increasing. And when you look at the news and you see the kinds of animosity that went on in the city of Inkster with their water increases, and you see that a couple of very vocal people objecting to those increases, they took it to another level, and then their water rates went down. I think that, you know, as representatives of the people here in Romulus, if you can, as I believe it was Ms. Abdo indicated, if you can show us where the breakdown is, show us what the city of Detroit charges us, show the citizenry where the threefold increase fee to the resident is going, and why, and if there are efficiencies that we could have gained in the interim, the 2 years that we did not have a water increase. So the city charges us $8 and we charge $26. Let us know what that extra $16 is going for. Let us know that we have implemented certain kinds of measures. We have eliminated overtime. Whatever it is, that there's been some effort by the council members to protect the pocketbooks of the people. This is not a wealthy city, and I don't want to speak to anybody's pocketbook, but I don't think that anybody here is willing, able, and happy to pay more for something that they consider to be a commodity. So for transparency, for advance notice to the residents, putting information on the website, having the agenda have more than just a sentence that is not self-explanatory will go a lot farther to informing the people and keeping them educated, and would eliminate a lot of animosity and hostility that you'll see here. And that's what I wanted to speak to. Lastly, I would like to encourage all the residents of Romulus to look forward to the next Envision Romulus meeting. I attended the first one, and I was very pleased with some of the ideas that people came up with to improve the city. And I was also very interested to learn that in the breakout group of about 50 people, broke out in this maybe 6 or 8 groups, the number 1 or number 2 item on every group's list was a stricter code enforcement for the city of Romulus. And that is grass cutting, weed cutting, brush clearing, old cars, junk and debris. And to hear the other resident complaining about her neighbors, I think that we have a code enforcement officer, we have a building department. Why is the grass so tall everywhere? Why is there bush and brush and overhang, and which allows the breeding of critters and animals and things? This city has a rural background and a rural history and that kind of thing, but we need to move forward into the new century and get people to not just cut the grass, clear brush, make clear sight lines. I have a bike path in my community at the corner, and the grass is not 12 inches long, but the weeds are 12 inches long. It needs to be cut more than 3 or 4 times a year at the city's insistence. It needs to be flexible enough that we can have some internal agencies or the DPW or somebody to stay on top of this. The city does not look good when everything is overgrown. So more code enforcement is the takeaway there. More transparency, some pro forma tax bills maybe on the website showing everybody what this moving forward acceleration of the tax collection is going to be, and more information on the agenda so that you'll know and citizens can pick and choose which council meetings they can attend or feel that they need to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes.
Mayor and council and clerk and treasurer, appreciate giving the opportunity to come up here. I know you guys have been long in the saddle today with your meetings. My name is Jeff Gorman. I am not a resident of Romulus. I'm a resident of Garden City, but together, our cities, along with the other ones, are in the 13th Congressional District. And I want to let you know that I am the other 13th Congressional District candidate for the House of Representatives coming up in the primary and the general election. I want to put public service back into public office. I want to serve you as well as all the residents of this big district that includes a lot of Detroit. I also want to put the Constitution back into effect in Washington because it seems to be out of use there, and it needs to be. I listened to all the problems that you had here tonight. It's capital. If the federal government is sucking up all the capital, there's not left much for small businesses, for municipalities, for the states, or anything else. Fiscal sanity has to be returned there. So I appreciate the opportunity. I'm out there. I'll stay by afterwards if you guys have any questions for me. Can I give the website, I guess? It's jeffgormanforuscongress.com. Pretty simple. And we're having a meet and greet tomorrow at the Fabulous Toast Restaurant in Garden City. If you want to come by and meet me. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
To the chair, two quick things. I do apologize if I did not share this with you. I did through the study session. Number one, the tax collection will not start until July of 2015. So they are communicating to us a year in advance, so that way you have time to plan. And secondly, in your July and your December tax bill, the school has prepared an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper explaining what they're doing. It will be enclosed with your tax bills for both tax bills. So again, we want to get the communication out there. Any questions, please call the board office or myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, also I wanted to comment, the good comment about the website. We're totally revamping the website, and those are some good suggestions. We are trying to include more in the website so that people can get more information quicker, faster, better. That's the whole thought with the website, with the newsletter, with meetings, with taking our message on the road. So we'll try to make sure we include that. We pledge with the schools to do the same, to let people know the impact or where they can go to get answers for the impact of the school tax portion. So we are trying very hard to do that. In the Envision process, we did have a lot of interest in making an attention on code enforcement. We took that to heart. The two that came up pretty high were code enforcement and roads, which are valid points. Believe me, we're working hard to try to come up with some solutions on those. By the new staff that we have in the ordinance department and the direction that they have is to do just that, help us enforce that, because those are concerns. We have to clean up our community. We also are trying to look at and exhaust all resources on how we can come up with some road solutions. So I just want to let you know that it's been a good process. It's good information. You need the information to help, work on the action. It did validate that some of the areas that we picked as far as early on our administration, even in the 100-day plan, were in sync with what our residents were looking for. So there's more good things to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, we will close that part out.
Number 8 is unfinished business. Number 9 is new business. Number 10 is communication. Number 11 for approval is warrant 14-12.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 14-12 in the following amounts. Excuse me. General Operating Fund, $90,230.22. Major Street Fund, $76,522.34. Local Street Fund, $2,282.80. Cable is $5,356.33. Marion Road Special Assessment is $10,186.17. Sanitation Fund, $758.48. Community Development Block Grant, $27.94. 911 is $1,064.36. Narcotics Enforcement Fund, $729.99. Water and Sewer, $74,122.14. Motor Vehicle Fund, $27,491.29. Technology Services, $1,303.63. And Retirees Insurance Benefits, $21,228.06, for a grand total of $311,303.75.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Makowski, to pay warrant number 14-12 for $311,303.75. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Warrant number 14-12 will be paid.
Number 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for adjournment. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.